Dear Chloe, today it is 2 years since the cadre of social workers took you away from me. They did not need to come en masse. Feeling like a house divided, I did not plan to fight. More important to this story, like you, I was a rule follower. You are my new love object. It used to be that special, elusive man that motivated me. Now it is you who are my muse. Judge my romantic analogies with a tween-aged girl if you want, but you tell me just what is the etiquette for letting go of a foster child. Chloe, how great my life will be when the stars align again, when this season of grief has passed. All things must pass away, right? Will I ever come back in style with you? The truth is, our family therapist was right. I did need to learn to control my temper. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy is a luxury, it turns out, only for biological mothers. I was spoiled, set in my ways. After years of fertility struggles, I wanted a trophy for just taking on foster kids. Yet, there's a second truth. I was good. You both got tutoring, slumber parties, a trip to Disney. I even got you braces, of which I'll never see the outcome. So, despite my faults, let your new mom compete with my material giving. I did work hard at least to keep that part even between you two. I really don't miss so much about being a mom. How does anyone do such an arduous daily job? Cynically, I think they do it because their children are an extension of their egos. A mom told me the other day that she worried about being a mom because of how competitive she was. She resolved this by rechanneling her competitive energy on behalf of her kids. Now she fought for them instead of herself. She fought to get them the best of everything. By this selfless standard, I was not all in. Bonding is what happens when the mom attaches to the child. Attachment is what happens when the child attaches to the mother. Zoe was the type of girl I needed to know from birth. No doubt she represented my own inner wild child that I have never been able to accept. Consequently, my own low self-esteem resulted in not enough fighting for her and too much fighting with her. You, Chloe, were easy for me to bond with because you attached to me like I was your own mom, like the mom I always wanted to be. Regardless, you came as a package deal. You came with your rule-hating sister. Although the foster care system had already split you and your 5 half-sisters up 3 different ways, I was told I could never, ever split you up. For this reason, I could not pull the adoption trigger. The problem is that fostering without adopting is rather like being a missionary in a third world country. You want to acculturate. You want to do your best to make a real difference, but you never really can, because at the end of the day, you get to get on your air-conditioned airplane and go home. The only way I could ever live with Zoe is if I knew there was an exit. But how do you bond with a porcupine? Is the question I repeatedly asked myself with a 3.5-year foster coaster ride with Zoe. By the end of the placement, CPS had forced the issue. I had to make Sophie's choice. I longed to adopt you, Chloe, but my maternal instinct just wasn't there for Zoe. How was I to protect such a wild child? I am so not proud of this. But all it took was for you to give me the go-ahead after a fight with Zoe, and I voted her off the island. I argued that she was a bad influence on you. You, I was willing to fight for. But the joke was on me. Apparently, your attachment to me was really just a defense mechanism common to a lot of foster children called indiscriminate bonding. CPS gave you a choice. Did you want to stay with us or go with Zoe to her new family, which also happened to include your 16-year-old half-sister, Rachel? To my shock and horror, you chose them. As I write today, about you as my love object, it is because I was left feeling like a woman scorned by a 12-year-old. So, 2 years have passed, and I am learning that if I live close to the real muse, not a muse of flesh and blood, I can emerge on the other side of this as a better, more generous version of myself. Getting over you has required daily use of every one of my recovery skills, most notably that of self-acceptance. I was so wrong. Your sister Zoe was and is very lovable. It was the orphaned part of me that blinded me to that fact. In her honor, I have broken a lot more rules, because the holy wise inner muse tells me that in the end, all parenting is really self-care.